In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged eyes, blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.
Go for it, Will.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Discussing the Resilient podcast. You might notice there's four of us this evening. We have Zito from the Discussing the Resilient Discard. Discard. yeah, I can't even get the words out. Joining us this evening, he had a good result of the weekend. Running a kind of off the wall sort of wacky list, so we wanted to sort of get him on and talk about that a little bit. And obviously, I suppose first things first, and do you want to introduce yourself, Zito? Maybe just talk a little bit just about yourself, and then me, Aidan, and Dave will sort of do a quick recap before we sort of deep dive the event that you've just played. So, do you want to talk about maybe how long you've been playing 40k, what got you into the hobby, and sort of what drew you to Death Guard as well, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me on, guys. It's a real honour. I've been following you guys since I think like the original days of the podcast on Spotify, and it's been, I'd say everyone agrees on the Discord and they join it, and that's why you have so many people following.
That's right. Read the script, Zito. Read the script.
I was not forced to say that.
Just see the barrel. See the barrel poking in the back.
But no, so yeah, I think a lot of people have a similar sort of story to me. So I used to play like 20 odd years ago when I was a teenager. I think back in second or third edition, it wasn't anything serious. It was go down to your local Games Workshop store, play. And back then it was just Nurgle CSM. I can't even remember the specific reason why I liked to play them. Our favourite colour's green. I remember going and getting things painted in green. Did a terrible job of painting back then. Not much better now. And yeah, just look to just go, hey Dale, that was a event. I really enjoyed your play session. You put a lot of effort into it. Whoever gets that is a memento to the hobby. But yeah, you just go to the local Games Workshop store like every Saturday and Sunday. Just go, okay, who's got 1,000 points? Let's play. Then just tailed off. University, all that type of stuff. And then COVID happened. And then one of my wife's best friends, her husband, they've got a young kid, and they was like, "Oh, I bought the 9th edition box set." I was like, "Oh, I've got all these models in my parents' attic. I'll get them out and see what they're like and everything like that." And then got them, had a little play, realised that none of them were the right base size or anything like that. But got back into the lore, started watching YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff. Stuff like Play On is perfect for leading people back into the hobby that sort of have some sort of idea. And yeah, then it was coming up towards my birthday, and we went on like a little family holiday, had a few too many beers, and I started putting things on Element Games' website saying, yeah, maybe you can buy this for my birthday, and then spent like £200 on Plague Marine, and then it's just been an addiction since then. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. But yeah, it's an excellent hobby. So many aspects to it, but it's definitely got its claws back into me from that point, and I've just been loving it since.
Nice, that's really interesting. I mean, it's just similar myself in that way. I don't know if you've ever seen my death guard, but mine are all like 90s themed or actual 90s models in a lot of instances.
Yeah, you have a really cool. I remember seeing it's all the retro models and then a lot of kit bash. It's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a similar thing going on. So that's really interesting. That. So let's just catch up on Aidan and Dave, and then we'll find out a little bit more about the event, and you can run through the list because it's a bit different.
I love it.
So Dave, how have you been since we saw you last? Obviously, now you're an expert painter. Have you been sort of edge highlighting since edge highlighting till the
yeah, I mean, obviously that's just clearly what I've just spent all my time doing. No, I haven't actually. Funnily enough, I was 40k wise. I played the next round of the Crusade at Club versus Space Wolves, which was really good fun. It was a 1,500 point game. And I took 2 Great Unclean ones in because we had no limitations on mixes of what you could take, and there was no limit to scoring as well. So it was, as per my update on the short, it was 265 to 35 win versus Space Wolves. So the scoring system was ludicrous, and it was a lot of fun though. And the guy's written all the narrative is doing a really good job of it, so that's a lot of fun. And then yeah, I'm just trying to work out if I can manage to get to Manchester GT with you guys. But I've got a few little things to check in, but hopefully, yeah, I might be able to make that one. So that'd be really good.
Oh, nice! Yeah, it'd be great to have you down. And then Aidan, how's things with you? Are you obviously last time we'd heard from you? Riding high from an ITT win. Have you done any more or anything since we spoke with you?
Not too much to be honest. Obviously, Manchester GT is coming up. I played a TTS game against Mike Way, who wanted to practice his Death Guard versus something different. I played as Blood Angels. I cheated because again, I've never played Blood Angels in my life, and I may have misplayed a stratagem by accident, totally by accident. But part of that, no. I do have, however, I'm on Thursday fight night on 6++ podcast in 2 days to play TTS on stream. So I have that to look forward to. I completely escaped my mind. I forgot to mention it to you guys. So it's not going to be super serious sweaty comp. I may be taking a Land Raider and a Clawd. We'll get there. We may be taking it for a laugh, but I'm playing against Tau. So if you guys want to tune into that, again, keep your eye on Thursday. I think he's going to post it up tonight. But the part of that, just a bit of hobbying really. Trying to finish off my Votan, a little bit of basing work. And
Do you know who you're playing against on Thursday, by the way, Ian? Or is do you find out on the evening?
I have found out who I am against. You give me a second to open the text again.
Jack on his tower, on it. I
Uh,
imagine it's Jack.
yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
And Davey will be the third commentator. Yeah, and it'll be Talia. So it should be fun. Should be fun. Like I said, it's more going to be a chill out sort of talk, have a bit of a laugh with it. Nothing too sweaty and competitive, but it is going to be on UKTC terrain. Please let me know if this list is viable on UKTC terrain. I really hope it is. We'll find out one way or another. But yeah, the part of that just usual hobby stuff. And oh, fun fact, actually, I found out today. The best coast pairing people messaged me, and apparently for winning ITC best in faction, I get all the codex codes for free. So now people can't cheat against me because I can check everyone's rules.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty good, isn't it?
yeah, it's actually pretty cool. So I just have to like download like a million codex now, but finally have all the rules unlocked on my phone. So now if someone's like, oh yeah, I swear that's how it works, I'm just gonna be like, are you
everyone
sure?
in chat and everyone watching this on catch up and everyone in the Discord, you can now just DM Aiden for any question
Yes.
on any faction.
I will screenshot my phone, send you the rules. I'm basically just a codex printer at this point. But that was quite cool. But yeah, part of that, no, I'm doing good. I'm excited to dive into this wacky, wonderful list because I love original stuff. Just like we love Don's one, this is fun. Also very quickly, thank you to Don Hooson, $7.77 super chat. Aiden hides from me and TTS, and he's going to go and play Tau. We have horrible time zone issues, Don. We have terrible time zone problems. We will try and get that game in though. I might even play Blood Angels against you and cheat, Don, if that's all right. But very quick reminder for the people watching: do remember, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, to leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. And if you really enjoy it, consider becoming a Plague Marine member. You get access to our Discord, where you can meet the lovely Zito. You can talk crazy lists with Zito. I'm just going to sell Zito instead of ourselves. Me, Dave, and Will honestly do nothing. We're useless. Don't even bother. But £3 a month, less than a coffee, to speak to this crazy Clawd man. That is worth it. But yeah, even if you can't do that, just a like and a subscribe, it helps a lot. There he is, the Clawd. So yeah, what about yourself, Will? Anything interesting?
No, just I revisited the Poxwalk at Plague. Apologies for the mic quality on the video. It's not that the mic's bad. It's just I had it too loud, and the pre-recording software I used, I didn't find out till the end, and I couldn't be asked to go back and redo an hour of my just stream of consciousness. So being blunt about it, I thought this is just the way it is. So people either can like it or lump it, but yeah. So it links nicely to what we've got on here with Zito, and kind of me sort of possibly going back to something that I'd run previously for Manchester, and obviously we can ask Zito what he'll be running at Manchester, if this list is going to continue, or if it was made specifically for one terrain set. Although you took it to or you've done well at London as well, I know, so presumably it's sort of come from there, London Grand Tournament that is. So it's probably a good time then, Zito, to tell us about the list, go on, unveil it, because you actually played one of my mates ran one. You played a guy called Phil. So yeah, I don't know how that game went, but yeah. So run through the list first, because I've got a bit of a sneak peek from Phil telling me about it basically.
Okay, yeah. So Phil, we did have a chat with Phil because he was like, oh yeah, I found out that I was matching up against Death Guard. So obviously Phil's part of Team Stonehammer with Will. It's like I ran it against Will. And then I thought, oh well, what did Will run? It's like, oh yeah, it was like a lot of parts of a lot of Plague Marines. I was like, oh yeah, my list doesn't have too many of those. He said, yeah, it looked a bit different, but it was fun. But yeah, so let's go through the list. So it is character heavy, and one person did take Fix Assassinate against me.
Really?
We'll go that
Okay.
later. Yeah. But so more time. The list is called Claude and Morty. I was just pun Rick and Morty there.
So just very quickly, I have put the list in the description as well, so people can follow along as he goes through it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Mortarion and Typhus, I just think they're just a staple of any solid list at the moment. The Biologist Putrefier, who obviously, as people on the Discord sort of know, I don't run that with the Foul Blightspawn. I run that with the Chaos Lord, which, did you guys know, has a 4-up invuln?
Yes, we did know this.
I didn't.
It's mad. I think like a the normal parallel guy, he's got invuln. It's crazy.
I witnessed that moment. Penny drop.
I generally, I've been running him since I don't think I ran him at LVT, but yeah, at least the last event. And then Sam in the final was like, yeah, you know, all Chaos Lords have a 4 pinball. And I was like, no, they don't.
No, don't, mate. No.
I'm going to cheat myself out of this one.
But yeah, so he's even better than I originally thought it was.
Cool.
So yeah, obviously the spicy tech is that the Biologist Putrefier gives you the crit 5s, and also lethals, and the Chaos Lord gives you the reroll 1s to hit for in combat and in shooting. And if you put the Twin Lightning Claws on there, you at strength 5 against most of the things you are fighting or wanting to connect him with, you're re-rolling either to get 3s or 4s, and because it's twin linked, you get a lot of the actual damage to it. It's a really consistent unit, and it also doesn't get affected by anything such as -1 damage or whatever it is, because it's only 1 damage. So when it gets a bit bonkers is when you use the sustain strat, because you're critting on 5s, you're hitting on 2s.
Just to jump in a second here, so because you talk about the characters, but what you attach them to? You attach them to
go through the rest of your list.
Marines or
Exactly.
5 Plague Marines or... No, it's I figured it was attached to Plague, but I just wasn't sure if it was 10 or 5 or what weapon. So just finish your point there and add what the Plague means, and then run through the rest of the list.
So I'll go back. I'll finish the list and then we can go back to the so yeah, the Chaos Lord and the Biologist Putrefier, they attach to a 7-man. Right. Everyone can compute it at 7-man, but there's 2 reasons. 1, points. It's a lot of points to stick in at a full 10-man, and 5-man. It's okay. I've tried it. It just, the ablative wounds of the stuff that you don't need tends to be helpful. So I had 2 bubotics, 2 heavy plague weapons, and then a melter gun just for when you get out. You might want to try and pop a rhino or something like that. I just put some wounds on something big, and a blight launcher, just because I never really found that having the spewer for that specific target as squad was that useful. If I make contact with what I want to with that unit, it's going to die for the type of things I want to put it into. So the 7-man, it always gets questioned, but it tends to work out for the way that I play it.
Yeah, makes good sense. And then the other ones, have they got heavy plague weapons, I assume, or is it?
Yeah, 2 heavy plague weapons, 2 bubotic, because obviously you cap per 5, but it's enough. And then, yeah, I've now got 4 Terminator characters. So the Lord of Virulence, the Lord of Contagion with the Deadly Pathogen, because if you're running the Lord of Contagion, I feel like you have to. It just makes him such a threat.
Yeah.
Is that the 15-point one, the one that adds an extra attack?
Extra attacks, yeah.
And if you're looking to get him on an infected objective marker, there's 7 attacks and strength 10. It really, really hurts. The Death Guard, Sorcerer and Terminator armor, and then and Pipes, obviously the other Death Shroud attachee.
Yeah.
And to round out the characters, I just have a Talisman, generally to score me something on this, like the bottom corner. Do you know, like on a Crucible or Battle map, you can put him in the sort of like top corner, and then he goes and he does recover assets, or he does sabotage, or he does containment, or something like that. He was terrible all weekend. I think I got like 2 CP out the whole time I rolled.
Yeah,
but he got me points. He screened out areas, and he generally for 45 points. I think he's worth putting in. But it's especially the type of game you want to play. And then rounding up the list, we have 6 3/3 Death Shroud. I always have to have the 6-man. Take inspiration from Dave. This is just a fantastic unit. They really are. You drop down 6 Death Shroud with a character, whatever it is. If the rapid ingress, if someone leaves a big hole in their backfield, the game's pretty much over because they do so much damage. If you can drop it where they're not expecting it, they have to reallocate all the resources to try and either kill that, or then you've got the thing that they were trying to kill originally. And then, the 3 I find is another good drop down and sort of reinforce an area. And then one of the other 3s generally either starts in the Land Raider to pull out a really powerful Alpha, or sometimes, very rarely, starts on the board.
Yeah, because I think what I like about that is, and a lot of people think and we've said this lots of times over the past year, but a lot of people think if you're taking Death Shroud that you've got to drop, you're taking them to get them dropped into your opponent's half of the board or your opponent's deployment zone. And what you just said there is very much how I play them as well. I will very much look at using them to shore up the halfway line and shore up my kind of board control, and then free something else up potentially to move on if it's the case, or just to completely disrupt my opponent who thought they were going to come and roll over one side of the board. So yeah, I think reinforcing is a very good way to use them as well.
Yeah, and having the 3 with a character attached means that there's a slightly smaller area that the person has to be worried about. So it's great for that. And then just the rest of the stuff sort of 10 box walker just for screening home. I just find it's better than the cultist because of the feel no pain, and it's the same point. So and I don't have any more cultists. I've only got 10 cultists. And then I've got the Blight Hauler, which I really like just for threatening Melter. It does more work as a threat than it does actually have pop-in, but every now and again, with a +1 for wound against something big, you get a Melter shot through, you're pretty happy. The 2 drones, one with the Spitters and one with the Heavy Blight Launcher. I've loved Heavy Blight Launcher since the start of 10th edition. I think it's really, really strong. It's excellent at killing Marines, especially with Contagion, and gives me an extra bit of range because 36 inches. And the final coup de grace is obviously the Land Raider, which I know a lot of people say can't move in UKTC. You can. You just have to be wary where you want to start it. A lot of armies don't have enough shooting to actually pop it turn 1, especially if you pop smoke, and then you just jam it in the face. Which I think if anyone saw any of my games at the weekend, I like to jam it straight in people's face.
That Gene Stealer cult player had a family, you know.
I know, and Sean, if you are watching, I am sorry, because what I did to you on that stream wasn't fair.
It's not sorry.
It's turn 2.
It was my first stream game.
It was the turn 2, and the GSC player was like, "Okay, I'm going to go into reserves," and you're just like, "There's nowhere." He's like, he looked at the board, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's literally nowhere I can come in."
Yeah. And there's one unit of 3 Nurglings which just sort of like, usual sort of stuff. Block a scout, secure my scout, do some screening if I need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the list, and yeah, it works to some. It works for me. I've sort of refined it as I've played at my local club and some events and stuff, and it's just the way that I like to play the game. So yeah.
Great question first is where I think I know the answer to probably this question, and if it is the obvious answer, then I want your second answer. What's your starting unit to build this list when you first put it together?
The Land Raider wasn't the first thing in, but it was definitely, once I realised I could use it, it was the fundamentals of it. It was put the Land Raider in and then build in the Death Shroud in there, and then add all the piecemeal bits in, trying lots of little different things. But yeah, the Land Raider is the sort of crux of, if I can play it, I've played WTC terrain and it doesn't work. You cannot turn it, you cannot move it. But yeah, the list definitely started with the Land Raider once I've realised how I could use it. Yeah. And how effective it can be to just catch people off guard. You go through, like, you start the game and you go, I move 10, I get out 3, and I can charge. Mm-hmm. And the amount of time that people forget and go, oh crap, you can charge now, can't you? You're like, yeah, we did go through this, like all this sort of stuff. But yeah, it gives you a lot of agency when Death Guard struggle with it a lot. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, you do have a very aggressive natural play style as well, so the Land Raider kind of naturally goes to that. So, like, if I was to, for example, right, we walk up to the table right now, you have given me your list. What is your, like, you've got 5 minutes to brief me, Chief. I'm against, I'm against sort of like a pretty okay opponent, nothing special, just like, it's your second round at a tournament kind of opponent. What 5-minute brief could you give me to making this list magic?
Don't be afraid to shove it forward because it's a lot. T12 on Morty and the Land Raider, and the fact that you can throw something really deadly out there, like because everyone goes, oh, you can't fit 7 characters in a Land Raider. Well, you don't need to. You can fit 3 Death Shroud and a character, and then another character, and it gives you, and even then another character if you really want to, and it gives you a really big springboard, so you can move out. I think if you got a chance to see the Sam Boardman game, he put Sly Marbo right in the middle, and then did his move back 6. But even then, I could get out with a reasonable charge from both units, kill it, and then slingshot with a pile in because of move blocking and all that sort of stuff. And I was pretty much on his home objective turn 1, and he'd not even moved anyone. So you have to be, with this type of list, I found you have to be aggressive. You can't really be passive because people can then start picking off the thing that's around the main chunk of your army, and then your army doesn't work because people get so worked up about trying to kill Morty or trying to kill the Land Raider or the stuff that's coming out of it that they don't see the drones coming around the side or the Plague Marines coming or whatever it is. So you have to be. I'm not sure that this list works passively. You have to go turn 1. Here's my stuff. Deal with it. If you don't, it's on you.
Nice.
Yeah, makes good sense.
No, go on, Will. You go.
No, I was going to just make good sense. It was just something I wanted to ask as well. Is there a rhino in there too for the 7 Plague Marines?
That was my question. Was so? What's your plan of moving them at the start? Is it use your 2 big pieces to kind of be aggressive, push up, make your opponent think about those, which lets you move your Plague Marines without really fear of your opponent's not worrying about them because they're looking at this kind of other bigger stuff in front.
So my favorite thing to do is, I call it like the reload. So you aggressively place the Land Raider in a place where you can, ideally with a low advance roll, you can get the Plague Marines back into the Land Raider. So you move the Land Raider out, because it's a chunky base, you're not actually moving too far away. So that obviously if you're within the 3, you can get all the Plague Marines back in. So you've sent out the Death Shroud or whatever it is. They have to deal with that. Then they have to still deal with the Land Raider. And then you can still move 10, get out 3, and charge with the Plague Marine unit, which is, I'd say that tends to be the MO of the list. It's hit them with the Terminators because they're hard to kill, especially with -1 to hit in shooting, and then hit them again with Clawd after that.
Okay, that sounds good. And what do you do then? Because this list, when I look at it from a distance, it seems to have a gaping hole of reliably killing armor. Like, do you just hope you don't come against that in pairings, or for example, what would you do if you came up against, I don't know, Imperial Knights, for example? Because obviously there's the 4 las cannon shots, there's the 1 little blight hauler, there is a Death Shroud, and I know Morty can do that, but it's kind of spread across the board, or is the idea that you're closing the gap so much that it can all connect at once?
So if I go against something big like a Monolith or a Big Knight or something like that, 100% I'm putting Lord of Contagion with a Death Shroud unit in Deep Strike, and I'm rapid ingressing them to I'm getting them in a position where they will connect. Because they, with sustain strat or AP, because obviously no melee save for them and no melee invuln, you pick up a Big Knight with that unit. If that unit even loses 1 or 2, you pop those strats, you're picking up the Knight, it's just going to happen. So if it's a heavy skew, I did play a practice game against a guy in my club, and he had a Atropos, a Canis Rex, and another big one, can't remember what it was, and managed to get, it wasn't even the Death Shroud unit that got into the Atropos. I just got the free grenade, all the shooting, some flamers, las cannons. They all tricked it down to the point where I had a couple of wounds. I was like, I can't carry on shooting it now because I need to charge it to springboard off it. And then it exploded and killed like 500 points.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't feel like the list struggles into armor. I think it can, if you know how to target it and know how to pressure point it. It's obviously not as good as Plague Storm against it because las cannons will eventually take down big things. But if you push in the right places, I think you can deal with it.
Yeah, I think I did when I was testing out Clawd's rolls. Clawd surprisingly slaps like Predators for like 8 damage on average if he pops sustained, which is kind of mad to see. So, and then obviously you've got the 3 heavy plague up and still in the squad and the lethal 5. So like, there's a surprising amount of damage like that can come out the list. One thing I wanted to mention is because you played the list quite aggressively, because I watched all your stream games that were available on the Lords of War stream. One thing I did notice is, so when I play my Death Shroud in sort of like a reserve to try to rapid ingress them, sometimes it can be hard to fight for space, but because you're taking such an early aggressive start, the space, like the Raider and the guys inside it, because people don't want to be near that thing, it buys you that space to get a better rapid ingress off, which is quite interesting. Because when I was against the Gene Circle player and you felt bad, I was also looking at it like, yeah, but that Gene Circle player, like, he just collapsed space, and then you just were like, wave 1. Okay, cool. Like, I've killed a lot of things. You're starting to push back. Wave 2, because you just could, and he couldn't drop in anywhere. So we talk about fighting for space, and I feel like the aggressive play is that something you look for when you're playing it so aggressively? Are you looking to buy space?
100%. Yeah, 100%. You push out more, you push out Land Raider. People are either going to avoid coming close so that they can like get their shots onto it or whatever it is, but it's not often that they will charge both. Maybe the Land Raider might charge it, but then the Death Shroud have gone out at that point, so then they have to charge them. So they've not pushed as far up the board as they usually would against a Death Shroud army. So then, yeah, if they've gone first, I got a chance of connecting with the Land Raider and the Death Shroud turn 1. If not, I pushed out to the point where they've not pushed as far as they can, and then I can either deep strike the 3 man or something like that and keep the 6 in reserves for ingress, or I could just drop it and be like, cool, I'm here now, and I've got all my army on the board at halfway or further, and now you have to deal with me.
Nice. Just very quickly, thank you so much to Automata there for the 10 gifted memberships. If you did just get gifted a membership from Automata there, amazing support. Thank you so much. We did gifted one.
Very kind.
Make sure to say thank you to him, and also the 1 gifted membership from Liz Chicken there as well. Make sure you say thank you, which he already has. If you do get given a membership, go to our YouTube channel homepage. It's now the post tab, not the community tab, because they renamed it. If you scroll down a bit, you'll find a link to get yourself in the Discord. Get yourself in here, joining all the other sort of conversations going on. But thank you so much to Automata. That's a massive amount of support there for 10 gifted memberships, and I really, really appreciate it. So, going back to topic here, and also, again, Liz Chicken as well. Thank you for the 1 week gifted membership. You are also very worthy. So, just go into sort of like the event itself, because we can't run for all 5 games, because I do that, and those streams take like 2 hours. So what I'd ask you to do now is pick out probably your 2 where, not necessarily like the ones where maybe it is the one that you crushed the guy in, but ones where you felt like the list did what the list wanted to do. Like
where you did your play style.
Yeah, where it really showed the power of the list. And do you want to just talk us through a bit? Like, you don't have to go like, I'm asking like, oh, my cultist scouted 6, charged the scouts, killed 1 model, but you know, some like the big play decisions. Because one thing I did notice in one of your games, and I'm not sure if it's maybe just gonna caught it a little late. Did you have a Lord of Contagion solo in a Land Raider with the Plague Marines?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that was interesting, because that was a decision you made, and I want to know what the thought was. And I can't quite remember. Was it the GSC game, that one?
It was the GSC game. I didn't feel like the rerolls on the hits were going to give me as much benefit as the other characters. Say, the pick and mix sort of Death Shroud I go with, the -1 to hit on the Tire First, which is good against the Aberrants because GSC doesn't have a lot of like rerolls. -1 damage, again, it cripples their melee if it was going to connect with me. And the Lord of Virulence, because it's an infantry-based army, getting 75% of 6-man, well, 8 D6 flamers is a lot. So yeah, it was a case of the Lord of Contagion in that instance didn't give me enough to justify going with it. So he hopped in the Land Raider with Clawd and went and blew up some Ridge Runners.
Let's be honest, because if he joined a squad, all you're going to add to that squad is overkill as well. Like, Death Shroud do not need help killing GSC models.
No.
So go on, pick 1 or 2 of your favourite games, and also people in the chat, if you want to start putting some questions in, like we've already got one there, and we'll also feed them to CO as well.
Yeah, it's a shame that the game with Phil wasn't on stream. Phil was an excellent opponent. I really enjoyed our game, and it was really interesting when we got the pairings early, and the name of his list was it's the LVO list. Cool, I'm playing against the list that won LVO. This will be an interesting one after first playing Andy Quatz-Cohen last time at the Winter War. So yeah, it was
this is Death Watch for people that aren't aware. It's a Death Watch list, and like you said, he won LVO, so it's clearly a capable and scary list. It's
a very scary list. But yeah, that we had a really cool game there. But yeah, to be honest, looking back on it, I think the power of the list is shown best in the game against Sam. Maybe against against Marcus against the Grey Knights, but the fact that I was able to, like I said, push out the Land Raider, connect with 2 units on the charge to Sly Marbo, to then push in pretty much decimate one of the guardsman's unit and put all the pressure back on him. He couldn't really deep strike anything because it was his turn 1, so I had so much of that board control. I just didn't have enough units to screen 6-inch deep strike with the Aquilons and things like that. So I probably went too aggressive in that instance, to be honest. But yeah, it's just that kind of thing. Again, with the Grey Knights, I went second that turn, so it was more of a case of I pushed as aggressively as I could. I was scared of the Dread Knights moving up and being able to, it's like one-top Morty or something like that, or the Armiger Warglaive getting a thermal spear shot on the Land Raider. So I made sure that I was 24 inches away, so that if he did connect, it wasn't the melter damage, and really pushed as far forward as I could, and then made him feel under pressure so that he had to react in certain ways. And one of the big reasons why I think the list works at the moment is because even though people go, oh, that's Morty, I can ignore him, he's in your throat, and people then go, oh, I need to kill him now, and then a lot of times they don't, and then they've waited an entire turn not killing Morty, or even if they do, they've wasted most of their resources. And then you have the Death Shroud wave coming, you have the Clawd coming, you have the mowers, the float drones and things like that. It's just, if people hit Morty in this list, they're gonna get a wake up call turn 2 or turn 3, and it's a lot of damage that hits them.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people often say, "Oh, but good players just ignore Morty." But if you play Morty in a way where you can't ignore him, somebody has to deal with him. I noticed you were doing that. Either Morty was stood smack bang on an objective, so it's like, "Hey, ignore Morty, cool, I'll score the primary all game long," or he was like straight up in your like beaming down your opponent's like backline and just being like, "Look, you ignore me, I'm just gonna go run back there and kill like all the scoring and those Dread Knights there." So I understand the logic of people saying just ignore Morty, but I think when you play it in a certain way, like, that's not always an option.
Morty is one of those. There's only a few pieces in the game that I think that actually having that model in your list before you even do anything and deploy has actually a real world psychological effect on your opponent. I think he's just one of those things that if he's in the list, people cannot help but decide they've got to do something about it. So yeah, I think especially if, like, say, you play it that way. I think I didn't answer this question, but did you ever at any point consider deep striking him? Now he's got the ability.
I have. I haven't actually found the use case where I've needed to yet. I know I've theory crafted like, oh yeah, if this match, I think Space Marines is a good thing to do that, because obviously they can select him, I don't know, target while he's in deep strike, and if they don't, then you rapid ingress him and then he's gonna do it. Or if you do, then they've wasted their oath. So it's kind of mind games in that sort of sense. But I've not done it yet. I think there's definitely ways that you could utilize his deep strike ability. I'm glad that he finally got it, seeing as though everyone else had.
No, it's pretty cool. That's definitely the idea of sort of making them burn an oath target is really clever. So with the Land Raider then, so does it literally start on the line in the sense of if you go second, it can be shot, or how do you put it in cover then? Turn 1, you make it so it gets a pivot and then a move? Because I mean, on UKTC, for example, unless you're going to literally put it on the line, except if you go second, it can be shot. Usually, to put it in cover, it's still not getting very far into the board, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's it depends on the matchup. Like if you're in against an all melee matchup and they're not going to connect with you, put it on the line in the open, whatever you want to do, threaten primary, because it's OT5 as well. So people want to, if you can just get it on, if you put it on someone that's natural expansion and then have the Death Shroud set there, they don't want to come near you, and you're stealing their primary off them. Against a shooting heavy outlist army like Tower or something, you're going to have to hide it, because especially against like Mod Car or something like that, with the lethal hits, it's going to die. But unless it's a super, super heavy line, you either tempt them by also showing Morty, and they have to pick the poison, or you say, shoot it, and I'll pop smoke, and then we'll see if you kill it. And most of the time, they don't kill it, because a lot of people also don't, when they deploy, they don't deploy aggressively. They still deploy to the point where they don't want to lose anything first turn. So they're not always going to line up or be able to line up all their army the first turn. So yeah, you can not front line it against a heavy line, but like in Crucible of Battle, you can fit it in between the little thing behind the L in the middle, and then it just drives straight over the L. and then you're on the middle, and you can get out and charge. Or I mean, there'll be 1 inch in the L by then, but you can then maybe kill something and push through. So.
Okay, so you don't ever come across that. You don't sort of worry about people screening it out, in the sense of like, you know, everything gets out the Land Raider, but then, you know, like you said, the 1 inch example, like you just can't get to the units you want to get to because they're kind of waiting for it to happen. They're sort of like, right, we'll put the Land Raider in the middle. It's going to sit there. You're either going to get the units out, you're going to get a bad charge, or I'm going to destroy the Land Raider. The units are going to get out and just stand in the centre, and they're enough shooting, and they'll start picking off them. Does that's never happened yet, or is that just something that you play around?
I mean, yeah, this game sometimes they roll lots of sixes and you don't make saves, and your Land Raider blows up, and then you've got your guys. But then you should have something behind your L at that point, so that if they do charge it, you're heroic, or you'll be able to attack whatever they bring it out to. So. Yeah, sometimes you're going to lose it for cheap, and that's a sad day. But most of the time, you don't lose your Land Raider first turn unless it's a weird terrain layout, I guess, or you've severely underestimated the gun line.
So
one of the questions in chat was from Monkey Man, I think, who said, "How do you deal with kind of aggressive armies like World Eaters?"
That is probably the time when I've had to practice being passive and try and weather the storm. Immediately you go, which characters do I need with the Death Shroud, because they're going to be the big, like, absorbers of the damage. So probably put the Sorcerer with the 6-man and have the -1 damage, potentially -2 with the Strat. Nurglings do a lot of work there, so you don't end up using your Scout there, so that they can just hide behind an L so that they can't be charged and give that -1 aura. Typhus would go with the other one, and you just try and absorb it and screen your thing. So if they've got Angron, if they commit into something, yeah, fine, they'll kill it because it's Angron. But then you've got last cannon shots in it and melter in him, or the free grenades and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. No, it all makes good sense, to be honest. I mean, it sounds like it's you as a player rather than the list, though. Like when we've talked about it, like it doesn't sound like a list that you could pick up and sort of just expect to do well with. Because you mentioned before we went on to you, you did three GTs last year. You did Lords of Waaagh, the one you just played, another one, GT. And then you said you'd done 4-1 at all those events, which is outstanding with the list. Did you take many RTTs, or was it just mainly practice games outside of that?
I had done a few RTTs, mainly at Element. I think when 10th came out, I was running more of a PVC heavy list. Obviously the Morty combo there with the Lord of Virulence, it was pretty crazy. I was actually running the Chaos Lord backburn as well, but not for the Lightning Claws. That was a recent invention. But the putting in with the Icon Bearer and doing the 18-inch bubble trick was just really funny. Just like, okay, that didn't fall up. Take 3d3 molds.
It is quite funny.
Yeah.
Did that actually get anything good? Did you actually claim anything good with that D3 mortals?
I genuinely think I forgot it even existed all event.
So annoying when that kind of thing happens, isn't it? And you're like...
Yeah, I think I saw on the chat. Mike was like, "Oh yeah, why didn't you do any of your molds?" But to be honest, most of the time, if Claude connects with something, there's not usually a lot around him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, there's not really anything there, and it's always slightly annoying because it's his model specifically, not the unit.
Yes.
So it's like, all right, is anyone within picks of him? But yeah, it can be useful. Mortal finisher. I've had it finish off a Wraith Knight once because I thought I'd kill it. He had 1 wound left, and then I rolled the 4 up, and then it died. It was great.
Like Way says, you didn't roll it once, I was counting.
Oh, there we go then.
So, just a question I've got is, because you went against, so what was the full rundown? You had obviously Bridgehead, which unfortunately got you in the finals. Damn you, Sam. We had Gene Stealer Cult.
Filthy meta chaser.
I know, scumbag.
Yeah, I know.
Gene Stealer Cult, what was the other ones? Then we had Grey Knights, and what were the other 2 that weren't streamed?
So yeah, round 1 was Phil with his Deathwatch.
That was it.
Round 2 was the GSC Biosantic. Round 3 was a lovely guy who was running Chaos Demons, and it wasn't a typical Chaos Demons list. There was no great demons at all.
Chance? Was it Jez by any chance?
No, it was Luke.
Okay.
Okay.
I think he was on. No, it wasn't. It was the first round he was in it against the Orcs, and it was a lot of.
Oh, I
small
saw
units.
that. Yeah. I was like, what is going on this board? Yeah, lots of... So one question I wanted to ask you, based on that run-up, that is 4 armies with Uppy Downy.
Yeah.
Do you think, obviously, because we're going to be coming into a matter of quite a bit of Uppy Downy, do you think the answer to Uppy Downy is to play aggressively? Because it was a risk, but I mean, Sam's after turn 1 was, he messaged me on WhatsApp saying, I think I've lost this one. And he pulled it back, but... That was a very great start for that game. Unfortunately, the Scion's damage is a bit too much to hang on to. But do you reckon if you were to play these Uppy Downy armies again, do you reckon you still go with the aggressive route?
I think so. I think you've got to work on your screening game, and I think it's whether I've been thinking about it since whether I need to drop 1 or 2 units to allow me to have that screening just to make sure that I can cover those 6 inches. Because you're really pushing the limits of what you can do. Like the 10 Poxwalkers can go so far, the Cultists, the Nurglings, and the Tallyman. But other than that, I think in the Sam game, I was using Morty to sort of hold the center rather than having to push him out because I was scared of that 6-inch deep strike.
No.
Which, yeah, I definitely made a few mistakes in that final game.
Well, this is one thing I wanted to say, because some people have been saying like the game is that matchup is quite literally unwinnable. But you don't feel that way. You felt like it was just you making mistakes and realising a bit too late. Do you reckon that game was winnable?
I do. I don't want to take anything away from Sam. He played an excellent game. He's a lovely guy as well.
No, he's not. Don't lie.
But no, he's not going to take you to your next event if you keep on badmouthing him.
Great guy, Sam. Love Sam.
When you forget your wallet. So.
I think it's winnable. I think if I didn't start the Lord of Virulence and the 6 Death Shroud on the board, which honestly I have no idea why I did. I very rarely ever do.
I think you were doing it because you were like, I need to screen the board.
Yeah.
That's why you did it.
If I didn't go first, then they obviously push out their wave, and then I'm playing a different game. So yeah, it's easy to say that now. The main thing that I've looked back, and it's sort of a niche little thing, and it's also because I rolled an 11 on the charge as well. But I don't know if you remember, turn 2, I charged the Scion Brick, and if I had done it a little bit cleverer, I could have got the Chaos Lord into Ursula's unit with just a pile-in. And like looking back on the game, I could have done it. And then if I popped Sustain, which I did, and Precision, Ursula's dead, and he's lost all his orders, and he's lost a lot of his unit, and the Scions probably still die, and I think the game's mine. But it's one of those things you think about afterwards, don't you, once you played. So
yeah.
Learn from your mistakes.
No, it sounds like you did a really good job, though. I mean, I haven't seen any of the stream games, to be honest. So
I've just linked the finals in the chat. If you want to watch all of them, because obviously it's all on the same page. So that's the final game I've put in the chat. But the other 3 can just be found. The other 2, sorry, can just be found on the page. And I think there was still another Death Guard game. Another one of our Death Guard lads played on stream as well. So there is actually 4. You want to watch 4 stream Death Guard games? Check those out. Sorry, carry on, Will.
No, I was just saying it sounds like a really good showing.
Do you mind, Will? So I was going to say, what was your favourite match that you had there?
Probably the final. It was going against the meta like bad guy, the boogeyman, and feeling like I was in control of it for probably up to turn 3, and then that's when things sort of went south. It was a good learning point. But to be honest, I had 5 really good games. Everyone there was really nice. Dylan, who was on the stream, who did play Sam round 3. And then I think it's Oliver as well, who was there rocking some Flyblown. It was nice to see those guys, and just the general like DRP community just supporting. It was an excellent time to be there.
Also saw those dice roll a bit spicy. Those dice rolling spicy and some grey nights for me laugh. So one thing, another thing I wanted to sort of touch on is it's not a meta list, and we touched on before about Will doing his sort of episode. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Talking about how chasing the meta list can actually sometimes damage your performance and make you do worse, rather than playing what works for you. And we've always said on this channel, what works for one person doesn't work for another. So, like me, myself, Will, and Dave, we're all different players. I'm a quite passive defensive player. Will likes being quite aggressive, like Plague Marine and stuff, and Dave's just on some Death Shroud, like heaven spam tank nonsense over there. So this list obviously is, like we said, not meta. It's your own sort of creation, your own sort of spin on it. If so, I'm Johnny No List right now, and I've come into the game, and I am constantly trying to change. I've just bought Iron Storm last week. I was running 18 Death Shroud, and the week before that I was running like the Sparing Spell. What would your advice be to Johnny No List?
Just play what you enjoy. Just get some games in, even if it's just 1,000 points or whatever like that. We did like an escalation league at the club that I'm at, and it's just all right. We'll try out a unit I don't usually play in a 2,000 point game, and just see what it is you like, play, and how that unit can be used. Because the way that I use a Death Shroud unit might be completely different to the way that Dave does, or Will, or yourself. Find the way that you like to play, and find what the unit can do. And yeah, if you like the models, that's perfect. Rule of cool trumps everything really. Unless you're gonna really want to try and push like the seriously high competitive ranks, then just play what you want.
We can't even say that because I mean, look at LVO, Don Defiler.
I mean,
he's a madman.
So summarising it from like from someone who sort of heard you talk, Zito, and then sort of heard what I said about a thing. What I would summarise it, and I think this comes down again to testament to player skill. So listening to you talk about this list, it sounds really easy to beat, if I'm to be honest. But it sounds easy to beat because you've told us what it does, how it functions. So now we have all the information. But when you turn up at the table, because I've had this in my Plague Marine family, so I'm also talking, honestly from the flip side. People don't realise what's happening until turn 3, and it's sometimes that point when they clicked on, it's like the scoreboard's gone so far or so west. They either panic and push everything at you, I've found, or, the game's gone anyway, it doesn't really matter what they do. It sounds like your list is the prime example of that. It sounds like your list, you know what you're doing, you've got a game plan for what they're going to do, and then it's for them to disrupt your game plan, which I really like. I like it when before anything happens, you know what you're going to do, and if they can see your game plan, maybe it's just a high-level player, and they're like, I can see what's happening, they've got you every step of the way, Manny Chima or someone like that, whatever. But most people don't do that. And most people will be like turn 2 something, then turn 4, they might be like, shit, and then the game's gone at that point. Do you find that that's kind of like what happens in some of the games, like where you're on the front foot because you've played this scenario 4 or 5 times, A follow.
Apply Land Raider to opponent's home objective, yes.
Yeah, and it sounds like, because most people, even after you've taught this through, they won't watch this video, do you know what I mean? So, you'll be able to sort of do this repeatedly again and again and again, unless this becomes the meta list that everyone runs. It's like we talk about the Death Shroud in some senses. The first few times people played it caught people with their pants down, but the more people played against it, the more people worked out the tactic and the formula. But your list is so unique, it's sort of off the wall. You sort of like, your player skill shines through, and it's you're beating them with player skill basically, and you've got a list that kind of lets you shine as a player. Is what it sort of is how I'm sort of interpreting this as a third person. I think it comes back to, like you say, find out what your player skill is, and then pick the units that let you sort of turn your player skill to 11. I guess is the best thing, and kind of play so well that people just can't respond. So I don't know if anything that you think I've said there is inaccurate, but I think it sounds like you're just a great example. Is like we said, find something that you like, because every little unit in there, everyone I'm watching it is thinking different. But wouldn't this work better? But it's what works best for you. Yeah. What's that you shine, because the Lord is smart. Like for me, I still like my 10-man because I play the 10-man Plague Marines as an anvil. They either stand at a point and they're not going anywhere. You've got to come and do something about this 10-man. If you don't do anything about this 10-man, I'm going to max primary without thinking, and then maybe turn 4, turn 5, then maybe they'll push and do damage. But that's for my opponent to break down that situation. It sounds you're doing the same with the Land Raiders. Land Raiders here, these are here. If you just let them stand here and do that thing and push through your lines, you're going to lose this game. What are you going to do about it? And 9 out of 10 times people either make the wrong decision. It certainly sounds like from this, or they actually can't respond because you didn't expect it to happen. No one expects the turn 1 Land Raider charge.
The amount of people I played in the gun "Oh, you're a lot closer than I thought you were going to be." I'm like, "Yeah, that's just what happens. You got 13-inch movement realistically, and you can get that on the dash route if you starting them in there. And they're a horrible unit to deal with. The -1 to wound, -1 to hit with cloud applies. Go to ground if you really need to. If you're gonna shed loads of stuff. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of stuff, which is why I really like the Caraman as well, because if you want to do that really hectic sort of like first turn push, you're on 3 CP for their turn, and you can do the smoke, you can do the minus cloud of flies, you can do the go to ground if you need to.
It's really good. I mean, Tallyman's a nice addition. He's a weird unit. There's so many times when like you think like, oh, I wish he's done nothing. This 45 points could be so much more reliable. Then you have other times where he just gives you CP that lets you flip a game. So I feel like it's that thing in it. If you've got the awkward 45 points left, he's in there. But then sometimes I don't know, like if you need to cut things off the person that's cut for me. But he's a good tech piece, and I think the way you've used him on the Poxwalkers, basically just to screen out your whole backfield. And I guess the Poxwalker stand on home, and he's probably about 18 inches away doing the other half of the board. It's really smart.
I think the other things I think that your list is good, and it just echoes what we've been saying over the last year, is that there are so many lists you can play inside the Death Guard index still. Like this is just yet another example of someone playing something they like and making it work, which is just really great to see. And I think like big congratulations for you for playing it that way. And I think the other thing I referenced it before, but when I always said from early on when I was playing Death Guard is that because we don't have the speed general. I mean, I know you're doing some of the units here, but generally we have to make a bit of a plan and then stick to it. And I think what's actually has become really evident to me as getting through 10th is that even if our opponent tries to disrupt that plan, actually, if you stick to it, you can kind of, with Death Guard, you can kind of bulldoze your way through them now. Like you can be like, I see what you're trying to do, but I'm going to keep doing this because I've got my -1 toughness, because I've got my -1 to your save, all my -1 to your hit, all my -1 to your weapon skill, all my, you can actually do that. So the list you described in the way you've played it kind of backs that up, because you're like, here it is. And by the way, you need to call it, I think, Clawd and the Ram Raider is what you need to.
But mate, you've done it. It's massive. So one thing I wanted to ask, I'll have to shoot off in the next 5-10 minutes because.
Also, by the way, is everyone noticing that we've got crabs and now we've got Clawd? Like there's it's
Crustacean Nation.
Sounds like a community conspiracy.
So very quickly, Quack has been a member for 7 months. Thank you so much, you butts. Keep up the great work, Death Guard daddies. Those two can be classified as daddies. I'm not tall enough. I'm more like a Death Guard child. Everyone here, even Craig's tall. This isn't fair. And Chris,
you have to be tall to play Death Guard.
That is true. I'm so nerdy.
I wanted to ask. What I was going to say there was, this is quite a unique and sort of like very well thought out, and I'm sure intensely play tested list. What's next? Do you already? Because I feel like when you have this kind of list, you always have one sort of in the app, don't you? That you sort of like, oh, you're kind of thinking about it. Do you have anything else sort of in there that you're brewing up, shall we say?
So the obvious conclusion is, if one Land Raider is good, is there two?
I've got two in the cabinet.
Well, I might need to borrow one from Manchester.
You absolutely can borrow one.
But no, I think I wanted to get practice into Bridgehead to see how I can play into that. And I think there's play there. You need to figure out with the code exchanges and the reroll wounds, it's probably a bit dicier. But I also the big elephant in the room is Eldar, and I need to play against Eldar to see how I can match up and dissect that sort of play style.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the thing that your list does, which again, because I'm doing it all from a third party point of view. I haven't watched the streams, just what I've heard from you and sort of reading between the lines. It sounds like one of the reasons that your list is so good, and I think why it might be good against Eldar, you said to yourself, it fills the board. So you're playing uppy downy armies, but you fill the board to the point where they don't get the uppy downy. This is just like you lift up your deployment zone, you can put it down in your deployment zone. Like you could have done that anyway. Like so, it sounds like your army's good at filling the board, and then that presents problems for armies like Eldar, doesn't it? Whereas like you're actually dictating where they're going to go, whereas normally normally we don't have agencies to where they go. For example, if I use my example again, my list generally stands still just throws little units out until it's dead and there's hopefully enough points scored. Whereas Eldar, for my list, is a disaster the way I play it, and I'd have to react and become more dynamic. As you've done, it sounds like with you've been very reactive and dynamic to sort of change it.
Just give me this hilarious idea of like the face when the uppy downy player realizes he has nowhere to uppy downy. It's like the horror on his face. It's like
Yeah, it was pretty crazy that I basically made it so that the C player had nowhere to go on like turn 3 or 4 it was. And I think someone on the YouTube chat was like, it's the day of attention for the Death Guard rather than the GSC.
Yeah, I did see that. So we'll sort of wrap up now. So very quickly, we've got Strong Boy coming with the $5K super chat. Any rule that says I can't shower while watching you lads deliver Nurgle's sermon, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Just remember, after you've had your shower, to cover yourself in poo again. It's only the right way.
That's what's in his shower. He's actually plumbed it into
the
U-bend.
Smart. That's called recycling. That.
What colour of water am I getting today? Yellow or brown?
Oh, guys, I've got my dinner after this.
So I've got a question just very quickly in the chat from Bruce Williams. He's just asking, are the Land Raider contents always the same? Do you always start with the same things in the Land Raider?
No, depends on what the matchup needs. Most of the time, the default's Lord of Contagion and 3 Shroud. If I'm going to need like a solo drop piece for Deep Strike, Typhus probably won't go in there, or whichever other character. Sometimes the Clawd and the Plague Marine start in there. They've got a lot of mortars or things like that. I actually risked it against Sam, and he shot Poxwalkers instead to clear out the backfield. But generally, it's 3 Shroud and Lord of Contagion. Sometimes it's Clawd and the Plague Marines.
Nice. And just one last quick question. Why the one Mythic Blight Horror? Someone's just asking.
Some people don't like Melter, and +1 to wound against vehicles is actually not too bad.
It's just a little 90-point demon engine, the worst case of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 up, 5 up, 90 points to do actions or do some damage, and yeah, it's good.
Awesome. So we'll wrap up there then, because we've got the 2 guys in here to go get themselves sorted, and you've already given us an hour out of your night. So thank you very much, sort of, for coming on, sharing your experience. It's been quite funny.
That's really good to hear it.
Yeah,
really good,
and I will probably message you at some point tomorrow to lock in this list for this Thursday fight night stream, because that'd be quite funny to take a Land Raider and see how it goes. But before we head off, I'm not good at this part. Who normally does this part? Is it Will that starts it?
Yeah.
Oh, you've ruined it, Aiden. See, he wasn't
If
spooning
you just waited, it would have just happened.
The problem is, Aiden, that you can't really do well when I go get some coaching. It's like, it doesn't really work for you.
You know what the worst bit is?
What we can do though is we can reverse it a bit. So
No,
say that if you need,
Dave,
a Land Raider,
I've got this, Dave.
I tell you what, yeah, go on, Aiden.
I've got this. Don't worry. Okay. So if
pretend, Aiden, that you don't own a Land Raider.
I was gonna say, but what if, guys, I wanted to be better at 40k than I am at segways? If I wanted to improve my 40k skills more than my segway skills, where could I go to get some extra help in getting those skills improved?
Well, you luckily can head to our good friends at Vanguard Tactics, who both Aiden and I play for, and maybe soon another certain person who is in chat at the moment, which could be quite nice. But these guys have free battle reports. They have an academy. They have masterclasses. Go and check them out. Even if it's just to go and watch the content, the channel's all about sportsmanship and being a good opponent, which is absolutely stuff that we espouse strongly here. So go and do that. And given that you ruined my link, Aiden, I'll do it again. But Will, look, everyone's going to want Land Raiders now. So where do they buy them?
Well, you can get them at Element Games. You get a discount when you use our affiliate link. Keeps the same models. It just keeps the wheels turning, shall we say? But I feel like I was trying to ask you something there, Zito. I was trying to think how we could sort of link you in.
You will shill.
If you want to speak to Zito, he is part of the community. Where could they find you, Zito, if they wanted to get more involved with the channel? How do you and Aiden know each other?
Become a member of the DRP team and come and ask questions, because really it's myself and Strongboy and Mike that answer all the questions on the Discord. These guys don't know anything.
There you go.
Yeah, we don't
do anything. On the Discord, guys, we can speak to Zito personally. If there's a question that we didn't ask him, or there's something else that you want to ask him personally, join the Discord and you can speak directly with him. And I don't know, like, say Aiden, I'll flip it back on you now. if I wanted to remember contagion ranges, anything like that, where might I go to get those contraptions, shall we say?
You can check out our friends over at Saltire Games Etsy page, links in the description below. Use promo code NIGGLE to get 10% off your order, and you basically get to buy yourself some contagion range markers, deep strike markers, sticky objective markers, all that kind of good stuff, and they are themed around the Discussing Resilient podcast, which is quite cool. Dave, any quick update on the dice? So we know Baron of Dice fell behind on schedule, but it's because they had a crazy Christmas.
Christmas went absolutely insane. Yeah, so it should be still end of the month. So that will be the end of February. I am in having email conversations with Charles about it. So he said they were trying to bump the production to end of there. So I'm hoping that's where it is. And then as soon as they're available, we will of course tell everyone. And if you want any Discussing Resilient merchandise, which quite a few of the community have now got a few bits. If you watched Lazy DM on Play On, he wore a Playbus shirt. It looks really, really good. So yeah, check out drpstore.com if you're after any merch like a hoodie or a t-shirt or a cap or anything from an iPhone case to even some stickers somebody bought the other day. So any of that stuff just helps rep the channel out there. So thank you to everyone who has who's grabbed something off there.
And last but not least, Astra Catastrophe, thank you very much for coming to Plague Marine. Massively appreciate the support. Once again, go to our channel homepage, go to the post tab, and make sure you scroll down a few posts, find a link, join to the Discord, and get yourself involved. One last thing, Will, I have to actually mention this because she put it in the chat. Natalie ordered a parcel from Element Games, and she was very upset you guys didn't put a mint in it. I want you to improve your quality control, Will. So
some kind of admin questions.
So the next time you send me a parcel, I'm expecting 2 mints, mister. 2 mints. You hear me?
There you go. I'll tell you what. I'll at Manchester, mate, I'll have a sack of them, mate. And if you're playing anywhere near me, I'll just
chuck them.
Throw them at you.
Actually, and just add on as well, because he said it, I was about to ask the question. Next hobby hangout. Should we? Whilst I won't be painting, I'm absolutely going to be here to join and sit on and probably ask Aidan some questions while he's doing it, and or Will if the guys are on, and we'll just do another hangout chat and talk about stuff that's 40k and non 40k.
Yeah, just let me know your time. Like I said, Thursday evening's the only one I can't do this week, just because of I'm already on their foot. The 6 plus, but yeah, just let me know. I'm up for a hobby hangout.
Maybe we can shoot for Sunday, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So let us know.
Right, guys,
I'll be doing Valentine's, fake Valentine's with Mrs. because I'm at work on Friday and she's away on Saturday. So fortunately, guys, I'm gonna blow you out.
Live stream it.
Live stream what?
Valentine's hangout.
From the mail with my phone. Sorry, love. I just want to ask Ian about the edge highlight on this model. Hang on one sec. I might be the last Valentine's to have it back to
Vito, thank you very, very much for joining us as well.
Yes, thank you so much, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Really thanks for being such a great member of the community.
Lovely result, and thanks again. The list is really unique, and I'm fascinated by it. I think the fact that you've managed to sort of fine craft it to that sort of level of detail, and everything sort of thought through down to war gear, and congratulations, and fingers crossed for the 4-1 at Manchester.
5-0, baby. We're going for 5-0.
5-0.
Yeah, 5-0. Yeah, good point.
I've got to give Aidan a challenge, Anna.
Exactly.
Do you know what? If you blunt Aidan's run and you're the one who loses to, that's 2-5-4. I'll give you all the Element Games mints you can have.
Well, if you do decide to do the Valentine's hangout, Hugh is asking for bathtub hobby hangout.
It's just a Death Guard bathtub that you would.
Oh God, no.
Sure, I'm down for that.
On that lovely note, everyone, take care, stay right, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. I'll leave some music for you guys to chill out too. So catch you later, everyone.
Like and subscribe, guys.
Yes, don't forget.
Yeah, join the Discord. You can come have a chat with Zito.
Yeah, none of us. Fuck us. See you later, guys. Bye bye.
So broken heart, corpses twitch and come alive. This crimson plague, it feeds on fear as the bodies drop and it drives us near. Our skin is crawling, something's inside. Internal organs liquefied. Death God's gift, a twisted fate. No escape for me, yeah, it's too late. No goal comes except your fate. And we'll solve the hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick. so corrupted. Can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bites. The walking box now takes its bites. Run the rod, run the rod. Walking box now takes its bites. Lungs are burning, pox fills the air. You scream for help, but no one cares. Bones are breaking, bodies swift. The Death Guard's gift, death's toxic kiss. Pale eyes stare with a hollow glare. They're gone but shambling, lost somewhere. This hive is his, disease and bloom. No light survives in this darkened tomb. Then your comes, accept your fate. And we'll stop. The hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume what is sick disease. Are so corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bites. The walking box now takes its bites. You'll feel it settle deep inside. There's no cure, nowhere to hide. You breathe me in, you can't escape. I am the plague, I am your fate. What can you feel it in your bones? This is where it now goes home. No mercy here, you're out of time. Your final breath is that last line. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive was consumed by the sick disease. I'm so corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite. The walking box now takes its bite. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive was consumed by the sick disease. I'm so corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite. The walking box now takes its bite. From the skies we come to claim our prize. A world infected before your eyes. We are the rod, we are the end. The Death God's mercy is death again. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume by the sick disease. Are so corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite. The walking box now takes its bite.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhoon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The Death God transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Giantized blade meets the plague born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.
From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filth with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains, just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and